Ben, wake up.
Oh my God. It's Monday.
It is Monday.
Why do we do these on Monday? Seems like a bad idea.
So it'll be fresh in our mind, and we'll be the most excited to talk about these exciting events happening in our anime.
I'm excited.
People have to know our opinions about My Hero Academia at a moment's notice. I said we should come in and do these on Sunday. No, I didn't. I would never do that. That sounds terrible.
I said we should come in and do this on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was wrong. You guys convinced me that I was wrong, and you were right to do
I
so.
was going to say, there'd be no me on the show if it was a Saturday production.
Yeah.
Guys, we're here to talk about episode 61 of My Hero Academia, in which Bakugo and Deku punch each other a lot. All Might shows up and gives a big silly speech about how Deku's drive to save people and Bakugo's drive to win are both necessary. They decide to surpass each other for great justice to have the Infinity +1 drill that will pierce this something something, then they get detention. There's no plot in this episode. There's nothing to summarize. I'm surprised I managed that much.
Well, there's not a lot of plot, and there's not a whole lot of actual developments that happen in terms of like moving this. I don't know. I feel like there's plot. Yeah.
It more reframes perspectives, and you get to get clearly stated motivations rather than assumed and perceived, particularly from Bakugo, and especially Deku finally kind of understanding what it is that Bakugo's thought process has been and realizing like, oh, he's not just an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. He gets angry because me improving to him feels like I am looking down on him, which is something that like he was not equipped to deal with, and he is piecing that together himself. So his anger towards himself at being weak is being projected onto Deku, who he thinks should be weak and keeps seeing as getting stronger and stronger, sending him all of these reversed backward signals that he grew up, from every flashback being, oh, Bakugo, you're the greatest and your quirk is amazing. So having, big important developmental part of your time as a youth being turned into, well, why aren't you doing as well as this kid who always failed? Can do some stuff to the brain. And he's finally letting it out and realizing it.
Yeah, my big takeaway was, oh shit, Bakugo feels insanely guilty that him getting kidnapped is what led to All Might finally losing his powers. And that was one of those, like, as soon as it's brought up, like, oh shit, yeah, of course he feels that way.
Yeah.
How did nobody, including myself as the viewer, see it?
Yeah, and that's something that it's sort of interesting how Horikoshi gives you a lot of information and then still keeps things from you that feel natural, especially with a character like Bakugo, who's not going to talk about his feelings very often. He's not going to come out there and talk to the school counselor. This came to a head with him and Deku, and Deku acknowledges that he's the only person that can hear Bakugo. He's the only person who can accept his feelings because nobody else, he's not going to give it to anybody else, and Deku at that time is the only person who can understand it. So it's this great, I won't lie to you, like the moment where Bakugo asks, why was I the one who ended All Might, is legitimately just heartbreaking. Like the actor kills it in that shot. The animation is perfect. Everything about that scene is just heartbreaking.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's hard for me to be like, well, actually, because, like, no, that's sort of exactly what it is. It's just, it is a really good, this guy who we've seen be nothing but tough and mean, breaking down and being vulnerable in front of the person he hates the most, but also is coming to understand is the only person who he can talk to about this.
Yeah, people like to talk about bully characters. They like to talk about, like, I know that there have been people who said, why do people like Bakugo and any other series that everyone would hate him? And it's because it actually the show, one of the things that Horikoshi is about is presenting these characters as they are and then slowly peeling them back, because he's more interested in setting up the idea and then giving you the background later, because that is more interesting storytelling. He doesn't want to just lay out like, oh, here's this guy, but here's all of his problems too. Start identifying. No, he would rather you grow accustomed to this character and then subvert it, and I think he does that very intentionally with Bakugo to help people understand where these characters come from. Because he tells Deku to kill himself. He tells him, go take a leap off of the roof. Tells him he's worthless. Bullies him all of the time. And that's not okay. I mean, I'm not here to say like bullies.
He was also like 12.
Yeah, he was also 12. Of course, my personal opinion is, like, is never going to be, hey, let bullies bully you. If I have a kid, I'm going to tell him, no, you punch that bully in the fucking face. Like,
Yeah.
if they physically assault you, you're not taking that. And if the school gets mad at you, they can come to me. I'm just going to tell them, I told him to punch him, suspend him, I don't care. But with the character like Deku, that was never going to happen. But as we see, as Bakugo gets older, he's got problems. He's got a ton of problems. He internalizes everything. He struggles with all of these different emotions that were put on him, not just by himself, but other people. And in this moment, we finally see the very core, a scared, confused, and angry child who's just trying to make sense of a world that up until just a year ago, he thought he had figured out. And to watch this crumble around him is that's why Bakugo is my favorite character. So people don't understand. I'm like, then you're not you're not getting the same thing out of the character that I am.
Yeah, well, because it's the easiest thing in the world to identify with the character getting bullied.
Yeah.
That is natural, and it is very much set up to have you do that. It's harder to take that leap to empathize with the guy who's a big asshole.
Yeah. And I feel like they do a lot of good in that for this episode. Bakugo has a lot of good lines, like after All Might shows up and kind of starts talking to him, and he's like, "You were already really strong. Deku needed this leg up. I feel like he deserved his chance to not be weak and to be able to fight with strong guys like you." And Bakugo's response isn't like, that's not fair. It isn't like, why him? His immediate shout back is, I'm weak too. Like, don't quit pretending like I am this perfect person who I am portraying myself to be, because I know you know better than that. Yeah. And like, he's like, I act like this because you never lose and you're who I want to be like. So I'm going to act like the guy who never loses because that's what I want to be. And obviously, he even breaks down at some point going like, was the way I admired All Might wrong because you are clearly doing it the way he likes. And that, there's a lot to unpack there with just the idea of like, I am liking someone wrong is not an idea I think most people would even think of. But Deku or Bakugo...
I've liked some people wrong. Get enthusiastic consent, kids.
Thank you. But like Bakugo overanalyzes everything he does because he is always comparing himself to, in particular, All Might, but just people who he deems as worthy.
Yeah. I feel like he and All Might are kind of talking past each other in some ways too, because All Might is interpreting this in the most straightforward, why did you give Bakugo Deku your quirk? Which his answer to that is quite reasonable. You already have a dope quirk. He had nothing. I wanted to give him something.
Yeah.
Bakugo doesn't need a dope quirk. Bakugo needs a mentor.
Yeah.
And All Might has sort of tried, really just in that one scene where he gives him a little pep talk, tried a little bit to give him that. But it's pretty obvious to everybody, and certainly obvious to Bakugo, like, no, Deku's your favorite.
Yeah.
And who's doing that for me? Who's taking me under their wing and teaching me how to be a good person?
Yeah.
Kind of not, like, it's not that he's been neglected. He's part of this class and everything, but he needs some special attention, and he's not getting that.
Yeah, and I think All Might kind of realizes that, even if he's not the one to do it. But when they get back to Aizawa, he's like, don't punish them too hard. This is my fault. This fight started because of the oversight of adults. Like, Bakugo's been needing this attention, and I have been too inobservant to do it.
Yeah. Aizawa, you have to wonder what Aizawa would have done had he had All Might
Had he been the one on the scene, because I don't think they would have gotten this progress.
Well, I mean, if All Might hadn't talked Aizawa down, I can just consider this might have been a suspension or something worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. One of my favorite scenes in the episode is like upon reflection is where it shows Deku looking at the screen saying he always saves everybody, and then you see Bakugo looking at the screen, he says he never loses, and it's a great dynamic, and they're fantastically, they've been set up. These things have been said. This isn't
We've heard both of these perspectives before.
This isn't Horikoshi going back and then like, ooh, I know how to write for this. I know how to make this.
Revisionist history. Wouldn't it be cool if
this groundwork was laid very early on, and so there was part of me that when I initially read this, I thought to myself, haven't we kind of tread this ground as the viewer already? But then it never really occurred to me that the way they both view All Might, because we both know that they love him, that they idolize him, and he's basically the guy that they want to be.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen it laid out like this. I'd never seen it laid out that the different ways that they love All Might and idolize him and there's a word for it, and I'm never meet your, not heroes, although, yeah.
Role model?
Role model. Yeah, they've made a role model out of him, like very specifically a role model. But to see the reasons like presented so crystal clear here, it's great. It's fantastic. It's the best storytelling that Horikoshi, I think, has done in a while. And this is why this moment was the thing that I was waiting for this entire arc. Like, let me be honest with you. The last arc, that was good fun. That was cool stuff. This episode in general, I think is one of the best episodes of the entire show, just because of how it finally presents these things after all of these episodes, after all this build up, and it's beautiful. It's just a gorgeous freaking episode.
Yeah, I mean, as far as animation, fight choreography, all of that, like this is up there with some of the great anime fights in shonen history.
And it's nothing too over the top, but it's just so well put together.
Yeah.
Like, because with Naruto, you have all these flips, these shadow clones, you have these big explosions. Here, yeah, you get a couple of explosions, but it's nothing like destroying buildings. They're not just being thrown left and right. No, it's just good choreography coupled with fantastic Sakuga and brilliantly written characters. So, yeah, no, this is one of my favorite moments in all of My Hero Academia, and I'm so happy to see it on full display here.
What I also appreciate is at the end of this fight, it's not like we have like a resolution to this problem. Like, it's not like, well, okay, and after this, Deku and Bakugo will be fine and everything's going to be hunky-dory. Like, we get progress. They start talking to each other more openly about just being flat-out rivals and wanting to outdo one another. And Deku kind of like realizes that what Bakugo needs isn't the shrimp who's always bowing down to him, but he needs someone to, you know, the iron sharpens iron kind of thing. Of he needs someone to try and put him in his place is like the thing he's been missing his whole life. And Deku is realizing that that's now his task, is he is the one who has to outdo him. And they still don't really get along, and it's clear, like, even though they start kind of trying in the post-credit screen, they start talking to each other a little bit, and you know, being like, "What'd you think of my shoot style? What got any tips?" Like, and it was like Bakugo talked to him, but it was still clearly a like, "I don't want to do this, but you're right. Like,
yeah,
you did this, and it made me mad, and I realized that this was what was happening, and that pissed me off." So, you know, it's clearly working.
Yeah, this is not like, okay, we're best buddies now, high five, let's train together. It's like, okay, this is going to be like eating my vegetables, but I know that's good for me too. Let's fucking do this.
And Bakugo is the man who eats his vegetables.
Yeah. He realizes that, oh, this is what I need. All right, I'm going to do this begrudgingly, and I might drag my feet, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's my... And again, that comes back to my favorite part about Bakugo, is that this moment is wholly in character after everything that's happened, and that is like, okay, now I see the path in front of me that I have to take to get better, so he's gonna do it. And that's why Bakugo is one of my favorite characters. He's flawed, he's broken, but he subverts expectations, and he just sorry, I can just go on and on about this character because he's done so poorly in so many other places. Like, we can continue to call him Sasuke. He's so fucking much better than Sasuke ever was. Yeah. But like,
what I was gonna bring up is just we've seen this archetype done lazily before, and I think that's Sasuke, and to honestly a lesser extent Vegeta. It is just always this. Well, I'm always angry, and I want to fight the best guy. And
See, I think Vegeta wasn't necessarily lazy. I just don't think...
Well, that's why I said to a lesser extent. Yeah. Like, he has done better than Sasuke,
but
for sure.
I don't think Sasuke was lazy either. I think the problem with Sasuke is that Kishimoto just had no idea how to write this character.
Yeah, lazy is maybe
Yeah,
the wrong word, but
I think Sasuke was great right up until the fact that he definitively turns evil and leaves,
Yeah.
and then his arc is basically done until the ending that I didn't actually read. So maybe it's way better and it totally redeems everything. From what I hear, kind of no.
No.
they add depth, but not necessarily value.
Yeah, no, they do everything like Kishimoto does everything he possibly can to try and make Sasuke a more interesting character and to make his motivation make sense, and he doesn't accomplish that until literally the last couple of chapters, and by then we're just like, okay, sure, Sasuke, whatever.
We just want to see you fight Naruto. Go.
Yeah, and that part's great.
Yeah, and that
Like,
part's really cool.
literally the last couple chapters of Naruto are fantastic because it's literally what everybody had been wanting from like 300 chapters before that. But no, Bakugo.
But yeah, Sasuke is interesting in the first part because he is a tragic character, because you see these glimmers of real friendship and you think maybe this could turn out all right.
Yeah.
Well, knowing this ain't gonna turn out all right, things are gonna get real bad, and then they do, and that's when it kind of gets boring.
Well, and it's okay for things to go bad. It just feels like, committing to whatever direction you're going to go is what we want.
Yeah.
Sasuke went bad and then just like, and so I disappear, and like just kind of was in the background forever. Bakugo, I'm glad they're going with we're going to try and make him recognize his flaws and try and improve them so we can stick with him and see see him change, hopefully.
Yeah, that's the thing. They flirt with, when he's kidnapped by the League of Villains and they try to recruit him. That is very much like, hey, this whole Naruto Sasuke thing, nope, not doing that. Yeah. And that was very clever and I liked it.
That was, I cannot help but feel like Horikoshi, this was one whole giant setup for that. Because it would feel almost inept for him not to realize what he was doing with that.
Yeah.
But it was, and that's why, look, a lot of people, some people try to call My Hero deconstructionist, and that's way off base. What I do think it is that it's self-aware, and that's good. I think My Hero Academia is very self-aware of a lot of tropes that have been done before, and is happy to just play some of them straight. But it also knows when to subvert some of them, tackle them, and then try to do something more with them.
I think it's self-aware in a way that works, though, because it's really easy to just break the fourth wall just a little too hard, to become a little too self-referential to the point where it does not stand on its own as a story. And this very much does. You can see that whole thing as a reference to Naruto, Sasuke, and to tropes that have existed for time immemorial. That's a pretty direct parallel within the same genre, but even if you're not familiar with that particular example, you've seen this story in fiction.
You've seen the bad boy turned pure evil by malice or greed.
Yeah, but you do not need to have those points of reference to follow it and to appreciate it. And that is, how many times on this show have I said, no, this is bullshit because it only works on the metal layer and not this straight ahead layer? This works on both, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. And man, sorry, I don't know. I don't know what else to say now because honestly, again, this, as I said before, this is probably my favorite part of My Hero Academia. Like literally, we just saw one of my favorite parts because I just love how it all comes to a head. These are a couple of characters that have developed wonderfully over the course of the series so far, and to see this moment play out so beautifully. And again, I cannot stress to you, like, if you guys haven't seen this episode yet,
then why are you watching us?
Probably watch that first.
But the performance, I wish I knew his actor. The performance for Bakugo is unbelievable.
No, he does a really good job, and like I've talked up the dub plenty of times.
I cannot wait for this episode.
I'm
oh my
really
god!
curious to see a dub, but also at the same time, I do not envy the dub Bakugo voice actor. He has some hell of a shoes to fill.
Clifford Chapin.
Yeah,
he is. I was watching that scene, and then like in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh, Cliffy,
yeah, this is gonna
good
be
luck,
rough.
man." Because I love him.
Yeah.
I
think he does a great job.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's terrific in that role, but he's got a lot to.
yeah.
Oof.
So I am curious, though, speaking of things that it dangles out and then subverts, I was curious if either of you were fooled the way I was, because you see that hand come to stop Aizawa.
Oh, yeah.
And I was 100% hook, line, and sinker. Oh, shit, they're going to get attacked, and Bakugo and Deku aren't going to be able to help because they're off fighting each
Oh.
other, and it's going to be a big old mess. And it turns out that was entirely
Yeah,
misdirection.
I actually thought the same thing when I saw like getting ready to go and then a hand stopping him. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be what lets them fight out because someone's distracting the guy who should be telling them to stop,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna get back and Yue's on fire or something, and that's gonna be like season finale. Bye.
Yeah, I can't
I
remember.
mean, obviously, you have experienced this story before.
Yeah,
so
well,
I
it
don't
was in
know
the
if
manga,
yeah.
so I cannot remember how it played, how that part necessarily played on the manga. I actually think I just thought that was All Might
Okay.
because it just thematically made sense to me that like, oh yeah, All Might should be the one who interrupts this. It's all about him.
One thing I do really like, though, is with the end of this episode, All Might's like, all right, it probably isn't fair for me to just tell you that, like, yes, Deku has my power. I'm going to tell you everything, so we're all on the same page here, and this stops being this, I have to hide my origin from you, which I'm really happy about because I feel like Deku has only been able to confide in All Might, and I really like the idea of the dynamic of Bakugo being the other one who knows this big secret. So
I also really liked it that this was the point where All Might says, you know, this is probably a good time to tell everything to Deku's mother and legal guardian. Just
Whoops.
kidding, that will never happen.
yeah, still not exactly telling that important party, but all right, maybe that's just some differences in mentoring that me and All Might maybe have.
I don't know. It was weird. It's weird. although I think the primary reason, and the more I think about it, I think the primary reason he hasn't told her is because it is a huge secret. Mm-hmm. And while what has happened to Deku is a big thing, at this point, anybody knowing, like, Bakugo shouldn't have known about this. Nobody should know about this because the more people that know, the more people can find out that this power not only can be given. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot that goes along with that. Although at this point, now that All Might is literally not a thing anymore, I think this is the point where maybe he should tell her.
Yeah.
Beforehand, there was more of an argument of like, yeah, maybe the idea that All Might's days are numbered shouldn't be said aloud. Yeah, now it's over, so...
Yeah, I mean, the only potential risk at this point is if this gets out, then Deku becomes an even greater target.
Yeah.
But A, he's already a target, and B, his mother is not going to be the person to leak that.
Yeah.
Probably not. No.
Another thing I like, though, is Bakugo is now getting all of these extra spots to throw jabs at Deku just casually. Just like, don't worry, All Might, I'll keep your secret. Unlike Deku, I won't go telling people.
Yeah.
And then, like, as they're walking, when he's explaining, he's like, geez, Deku, you had to tell me this? This seems so complicated. Why couldn't you have just done the easy thing and shut up? Just, like, being like, you know what? I've got this chance to make fun of my rival in front of his mentor, who I adore. I'm going to take every shot he gives me.
Yeah, I was literally going to say that too. But yeah, no, that's a good fucking point. I love it. I love it because... it's such a human moment where he's like, oh, yeah, don't worry. I won't say anything like this idiot over here. God, Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking moron.
And it's one of those things where, like, I feel like and I'm looking forward to how this progresses through the series because I feel like this has shifted the scope a bit in Bakugo just being a bully to now Deku will have confidence to kind of talk back to him. And two, now they have, like, even though they still clearly don't really like each other, it is this thing that they now share, and they have this mutual understanding of, like, this weird thing that connects them, and it is now palpable, and they can point to it and, like, be like, here's what it is, which I'm hoping will progress their relationship in a way to be more interesting than just the, you're my rival, and I'm your rival. If you get better, I get better. Let's fight some more. Like, I hope they actually get to talk some and be humans at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely the thing in this episode that it's not that it was done badly by any means, but it's just I've seen it before. I've seen the rivals before.
It very quickly became anime when he is like, well, I just have to get better. Well, then I have to get better than you. Well, I have to get better than that.
Yeah, but at this point, it was just nice to see them get along.
I was going to say, it was cathartic to see Deku being willing to yell back at him.
Yeah.
Like, that was what I liked.
Yeah. The relationship that I would hope this changes is the relationship between All Might and Bakugo.
Yes.
Yeah, Bakugo has needed a mentor for a long time. I would love to see, and you have, like, in the opening, you see All Might like walking away, and then Deku and Bakugo in the foreground. Like, I would like to see them on equal footings.
Yeah.
Two students of this teacher.
Of All Might. Yeah.
Yeah. I also. Did anybody else just fucking like kind of tear up at the hug?
The hug was really good.
Yeah,
I liked that a lot. And then also I liked that Bakugo like pushes him away like after a little bit. He's like, okay, I got the little bit I needed to like, get my emotion little tank refilled. Yeah. And now I'm back to, fuck you, I don't need your help.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a good moment because Bakugo is definitely one of those characters who just needs a hug so fucking bad. To see it actually happen in a very sweet, very human moment, I was like, good. Give that boy some physical, like some nice physical
he needs
reassuring.
Some human contact.
Yeah, goddamn.
That isn't conflict.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, but also I think that would be an interesting dynamic because it would be such a different dynamic than that between Deku and All Might, where Deku is the eager student who is always like, yeah, I'll do, okay, you want me to do this? I'll do that plus 20%. Let's do it. Whereas Bakugo, even having admitted like, hey, I need help. I need to be taught. That only lasts so long before he's back to being the reluctant, like, yeah, okay, I'll do this, but it's not because I like you, Baka.
Yeah, he would still be a total tsundere student of just like, whatever, All Might, you think you're so smart, you're so weak now. Like, and then he'd do whatever it is, but the whole time be like, even at your prime, you probably couldn't have done it this cool. Like, just yelling shit like that.
Yeah, and I think that would be an interesting challenge for All Might as a teacher who will straight up admit, I don't have a lot of experience or formal training teaching people.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool to see, and I hope that's kind of where we're going from here.
By the way, I just realized, so in the fight with Bakugo and Deku against All Might, so Bakugo will not give up. He just flat out refuses to give up the entire time. Meanwhile, Deku is trying to work together and even saves him constantly and is more focused on them both getting out of it. And I just realized that encapsulates both of their feelings towards All Might in that fight. Yeah. Of we have to think through this and work together to win together versus no, we're just going to keep going at him and we're never going to lose this.
If you're the last one standing, you win, Deku. I don't see how hard this is for you. Stop thinking.
Yeah, no, and that's why... And it's cool to see that. It's great to see that their different angles really just are exemplified all of the time.
That in this episode I love gushing about this episode because I haven't had one this season, I feel like, that I've really, really liked. Almost top to bottom, everything it did. But, like, Bakugo has so many good moments of, or sorry, not Bakugo, Deku just has that moment of like when he's fighting him and just being like, don't you get it? I looked at you the same way you look at All Might and I look at All Might. You were this amazing person I got to talk to every day. That's why I stuck around. Like, I don't know if Bakugo has ever heard it in that way, like from Deku, like it being like, no, I looked at you like I look at All Might. Do you understand? That's why I wasn't chasing you because it was like I'm trying to be good like you. It's you're this amazing person and I just want to be around you.
Yeah. Did you think I was hanging out with you because you were so nice to me?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, no, you've got these really cool powers, and as someone who is a fanboy of people who are great heroes, I can tell that's you. Like my being around you is me showing how much I think you're great. Don't look at me trying to be like you as looking down on you. And I don't think that probably had any real effect on Bakugo. I doubt he even really internalized any of that, but I feel like it was good to have it said somewhere.
I feel like it probably hit him. I mean, I think he heard it. I think it's going to be a thing that he has to process and understand. Because I think that's one of the reasons that by the end of it, he's able to talk to Deku now.
Yeah.
Because I think he's finally getting past this idea of how, like, I'm not sure. Did we see much of a reaction from Bakugo during those parts?
Not that specific thing. The only other thing that I wanted to bring up that Bakugo did that I really liked during the fight is when he starts going, I hate how much you make me think. He's like, when we're fighting, I can tell you're scheming and you're planning something that's going to make me have to work harder, and it makes me mad.
and he even says, like, I can't tell what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And that makes,
And he's like, I'm used to being the guy who can always read everybody, but I can't figure you out.
And Deku, and I do love Deku's response of like, I'm not your fucking punching bag, okay? I'm not gonna sandbag it over here. I'm coming at you. And it's in that moment where he finally realizes like, this is what he thinks. I didn't get it till now. I just thought this was anger and misplaced. No, he's got the wrong idea. And again, one of my favorite things from Deku in this episode is just when he realizes he has to fight Bakugo. This isn't about some petty rivalry. This is like legitimate issues between the two of them, and this is the only way that it's going to come to a head. There's no talking. There's no group therapy session. It's a fight.
Oh yeah, and All Might's like, you need to have the desire to save people and to also be the best, because those are both important things. And we've always seen, Deku being like, I want to improve and I want to save people, but he never has acted like, and I'm willing to step on people to get there, other than like very briefly during the test when he's like, we all have to pass too. But with Bakugo, he's like, I'm not going to be this nice guy who's going to let you win because you need this for the stress relief. I need to prove that I'm the best hero, and part of that is being better than you. And that's what he just decks him in the face, which is great. Which is another good moment of, it has the combination of, oh, you thought I could only use my legs. No, I do that just to keep stress off my arms. They still work.
Yeah.
And then point two being, also, I've been training this whole time at 5%. My body's probably gotten strong enough. I can handle 8.
Yeah, and I love that moment where he's like, I let it slip a little bit, but I was actually okay. Because as it turns out, with all this fucking weight, like basically a lot of weighted training clothes, he comes out there, he's like, oh shit, I could do this now. It's like, he hasn't tested how high he can jump. Turns out, it's about 3% more than he could before. And I love that just that small change is enough to fuck
when
with
your
Bakugo.
max is 5%, adding 3 more is actually a huge deal.
Yeah, that's a little more than half again. That's that's major. As always, if we're to take these numbers literally,
which if these percents actually mean anything.
Here I think you can. Here I think this is actual literal numbers because this isn't Deku overreaching. He's presenting these like narratively as, this is what this is.
Yeah, well, I think Deku believes that it's from 5 to 8. Whether those are like, look, Light also threw out a bunch of bullshit numbers from out his ass too that I'm sure that he believed.
Who knows if 5% is actually 5%?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And also, I think 100% isn't the ceiling is another thing. It's like 100% is maybe the percent of power he feels like he was given.
Yeah, that's what he believes the ceiling is. That's
But yeah, again, so God, I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, you keep bringing things up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that.
That's so good. That's so good too.
No, it's just God.
How they both got that same card.
Yeah, and it's weird because and that is a cute moment. We also have
reaches out for him.
we have the preview.
Yes.
Which I don't know where the season's ending, because they're kind of starting another arc. Like I know what happens next, and it's like, oh hey, you just gonna jump into these guys?
Yeah, I watched this episode with Tyler, who is also current on the manga. And when he saw that preview for the next episode, he was like, oh, holy shit. I didn't think they just jumped here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of murmurings like, it's probably just going to be filler for 2 episodes. I guess not. Okay.
Yeah, I think I know where they're going to end it, which is a weird place. I think they're going to end it right before and now the beginning of the arc. Because there is like
setting the stage.
Yeah, but they're about to introduce some characters that are huge in the next arc, which is like, I guess you could do that at the end here, so I guess they are.
Yeah, all right.
But
when you know you're getting that next season, you might as well just start laying the groundwork.
Yeah, that's true. It's fair enough.
I'd rather that than them open with another fillery, here's where everyone is episode.
Oh, they probably
Make sure to watch
the
the movie in theaters now.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we are seeing the movie later this month.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep. We have tickets for the Alamo, and it's going to be fun.
Good times.
Yeah. So I need to ask Lanny if he still wants to do that, because I haven't asked him yet, and he's the
He is the other big My Hero fan in the office. So.
Yep. So yeah, I think this is it. I think
I think so too. We can do this in case.
Most of the things I want to talk about.
If I could hold up 3 of these just on my own, I would, because I think it's pretty obvious when I said that this is my favorite part of My Hero Academia. It is my favorite part of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, it's been really good, and I've been a bit of a Bakugo fanboy since kind of day one. So this is sort of the fight I've been waiting to see culminate and see how it goes. And I feel like they stuck that landing and did it really well. I whispered it to you earlier when we were talking about all these things to bring up, but yeah, bringing up that shot of Deku holding out his hand to him for him to slap away is, I think, just such a good shot. Like, I just love that look of the, this is an ultimately incredibly minor thing, but I'm here to help you. And Bakugo being infuriated that anyone would dare ask if he needs help.
Yeah.
It's just such a good encapsulation of who those two are.
And not just anybody, but a
Deku,
quirkless dweeb.
Yeah,
Like,
this guy in particular.
Like, if it had been any of his friends, he might have been like,
Yeah,
shut up,
whatever."
idiot. I
Yeah.
got this. Don't fucking do that. No, with Deku, it's like,
This is an affront to me.
yeah, this sends him down a road. That one moment.
I mean, especially it being somebody who he is currently fighting against.
Yeah.
Like, that making it totally obvious that at this point, Deku is still not taking this shit serious.
Oh, yeah. And in this moment, bringing it back in this moment, yeah, sorry. I was thinking about the original. Yeah, bringing it back here.
Yeah.
Here is just, yeah, I was like, Deku.
We're supposed to be fighting.
Yeah, and again, that's what leads Bakugo to, like, finally break through. He's like, you just don't get it. Please listen to me. It's really a cry for help. Literally an actual
Yeah.
cry for help.
Him slapping his hand away is the biggest begging for help.
Yeah. And that's, again, God, I love you, Horikoshi. Thank you for making one of my favorite characters in shonen manga.
Well, we'll see more of our favorite characters in shonen manga next week when we watch episode 62 and try and figure out where the hell do we go from here. See you guys next week.
Bye.
And if you're watching on Twitch, then how did you do that? We're not streaming.